Well, welcome along. This is ShrimpNet number however many it is, but we're recording this on Thursday, the 5th of December. So, season's greetings to all. We should really have lights up, shouldn't we? All of us, sort of like, little sort of, But anyway, joining myself and Joel for this festive fun period is a returning stranger from the boardroom. He's been a busy bee, jetting off all over the known world and also dwarf planets. James Wakefield, welcome along.
Yeah, Freez, good to be here.
Yes, and special guest this evening, newly appointed. With he's got, I think he's actually part of the MCU universe because he's got special powers. He's been appointed by Tanya, as you know. Tanya is Apollo and Zeus and everything else in the gods of Shrimp's Trust. And so, yeah, we've got the new superhero, Matt Newsham, who's going to chat to us tonight about his role in the Shrimp's Trust and what he's got coming up. Hello, Matt.
Oh, thanks for having me.
You're very, very welcome. Right, where do we start? Dead easy. Bradford in the FA Cup, a really, really tough game. We were expecting a tough game, so it proved. Some of you may remember a couple of weeks ago, I had a dream. That wasn't Martin Luther King, it was me. I had a dream we were going to beat Bradford 1-0 and then get Crystal Palace at home. So I was half right. But an interesting game, Joel, and I think we both come from the same point of view of the sending off changed the game.
Yeah, I thought it was a good game.
It was.
It
It was
was
a good game.
it was a little bit. I thought it was a bit littered with errors from both sides, but I think sometimes that does actually make for quite a decent performance. And it felt like I think there's been a bit of bad weather in recent weeks, and obviously there was a reserve match played on the Wednesday beforehand, so that looked like it maybe cut the pitch up a little bit. It was a bit harder for teams to get hold of the ball. So yeah, there was errors. It was bitty. It was end to end. They got a bit basketball at times. Both teams were going for it. There were some good chances for both sides. But yeah, it was a really really fun cup tie. It felt like there was a real good edge to it, and it was played generally in a pretty good spirit until, like you say, Neil Byrne decides to lob John Slew into an advertising board. I was glad to see the referee pull out the red card for that. I think sometimes referees waver over that, but it is super dangerous to lob somebody into an advertising boarding like that, especially when they're surrounded by metal poles. So I don't think neither him or Graham Alexander can have any complaints about that. And yeah, from there, I mean, it came at a bit of an unfortunate time for Bradford. Obviously, there's no fortunate time to have a red card, but it was just after they'd made a load of attacking subs and they kind of set themselves up to go for it, taking a couple of more defensive minded players off, and then suddenly they're down to 10 men, kind of clinging on a little bit. So worked out nicely in terms of that. But I think I wouldn't say the game necessarily hugely swung on the red card, but it just gave us that. I thought it was pretty even so far, but it just gave us that little bit of a boost going into the final 15, 20 minutes, and we've managed to pull out that bit of quality needed to win the game. And yeah, what what a volley from Jordan Slew. I think he's already got quite a good little goal compilation for the FA Cup this season. So yeah, fantastic, and it was yeah, really really good to see, and finally a home win for the first time since April, which is lovely.
Hey, hey! Nice touch, James. For those of you watching on YouTube, you'll see that James has now just put a very Christmassy themed background on. Good work, James. I think it was a great goal by Jordan. Helped no end by Bradford's fullback deciding that he'd cling on to him and pull him backwards with both arms, which meant he was falling the right way to actually volley it rather than actually take a touch, James.
Yeah, this is a second FA Cup game on the bounce where Slurry's caught one absolutely beautifully. It was absolutely fantastic goal, and I agree with everything Joel said, as I often do. I can't believe that Mr. Alexander after that game was saying that it wasn't a red card. I just thought it was quite funny. I felt a bit sorry for him. And to be fair, the Bradford fans seemed to react in the same way. I'm not sure any of them thought it wasn't a red card. So yeah, really, really good. And just really nice to be in that third round. It means so much.
And Matt, we were all watching Mr. Alexander's post-match where he was saying, I didn't think it was a red card and it ruined the game and blah, blah, blah. I understand that managers do protect the players, and I get that. But even if he was my player and I was presenting this podcast tonight, I would be saying he is a pillock and he has lost us the game because that's exactly what happened. And sometimes honesty probably is the best policy, Matt, because he deserved to go, didn't he?
Yeah, definitely. It was a bit of a where we were stood behind the goal. We only saw the replay of it back on when we watched it afterwards. We didn't actually see the sort of the kerfuffle and then him throwing him into the advertisement boards, and we saw the red card come out and everyone was like, oh, what's happened. But I do think it was I think it was a very pivotal point in the game that like you said, the substitution's been made just beforehand, and then that has happened, gave us a bit more confidence, and just allowed us to give that little bit more in the final third. And and the volley, Slews, honestly, is like you say, he's real for this FA Cup's going to be something else.
Well, we were all waited with bated breath on Monday night, 7:00, and I was on the Morecambe FC fans page on Facebook, and I said I'd like to see us get Chelsea again, and I got poo-pooed. Now that'll never happen. But me being everybody knows I'm a Chelsea fan as well as a Morecambe fan. One of the things that disappointed me when we got them in 2021 was I was very, very lucky enough to go, as I've said, but nobody else was. It was myself, Quinny and Glenn doing iFollow and Radio Links. That was it. Although Rod Taylor rang me up and said, hey, I was there. I said, yeah, but you're a director. You're bound to be. It's not like, And I didn't say he wasn't a proper fan, but he did take umbrage. But, so it's a fantastic opportunity drawing Chelsea. The great thing is that I was desperate not for. I don't think we'll be on the TV. What are your thoughts on this, Joel? There are so many ties out there that are attractive, and that's impossible because Wrexham are in the third round. So how the hell they're thinking of this, I don't know. But obviously, Man City, Salford, Leeds United, Harrogate, obviously Arsenal, Man U, Tamworth, Spurs. There's numerous games to pick from, Joel. I can't really see us being involved. Can you?
Yeah, I know what you mean. I remember when we first drew Tottenham a few years ago, and it felt like we should be pretty nailed on. But actually, you look at the draw, particularly this year, and there have been some really good ones.
Yeah,
like say Tamworth Spurs. TV cameras do typically like to go to, they typically prefer to go when it's the smaller team's ground because it's just objectively funnier to watch multi-million-pound footballers run around, a cowshed and a field and all that kind of stuff. So, yeah, I imagine that'll be probably first pick. I will get the inevitable Arsenal versus Man United because obviously they like to stick a couple of Prem teams on. I think Liverpool versus Accrington's probably got the edge on our tie. Mate, I think probably due to the milk advert.
yeah.
I think that's probably going to give the edge. There's a couple of other tasty ones in there. Leeds playing the place where all their players live, Harrogate.
Yeah.
And so that'll be a short trip for them. And then and also you got a couple of little underrated ones in there.
Millwall Dagenham.
Yeah, that is quite a tasty one as well.
Yeah,
so,
I thought that was pretty good.
There's quite a lot of ties in there. I imagine we'll probably be selected for international broadcast like we have been in the past for Tottenham and obviously Swansea last season. But yeah, just hopefully it's not too difficult a time for us to get down from the Northwest too.
Now, the interesting thing is, James, obviously, me being a Chelsea fan and Fulham drawing Watford at home, there's usually a rule, and it's been in place since I've been watching Chelsea years ago, when Chelsea and QPR in the first division, and then Chelsea and Tottenham and Arsenal were. Chelsea and Tottenham were home at the same time, and Arsenal and QPR were always away. And it's the same with Fulham. Fulham, Brentford, and Chelsea all share the same sort of police people. So with Fulham having Watford, there's a decision to be made there. Now, logic dictates that it would be fairly easy for Watford fans to get on the tube at Watford and get to Fulham on a Friday night and get home at a reasonable time. But that's common sense dictating that. And as we know, the FA don't use common sense and neither do the cameras. So it could be an interesting decision that's going to be made over this tie with Chelsea, James.
Yeah, I think there's loads of factors, as Joel said, that there's a whole load of good ties to be picked from, and then there's the security and the policing aspect, and I John, honestly don't understand it well enough to understand whether they're going to apply some logic and some common sense. They've certainly got a lot of stick over the course of the last couple of years for picking fixtures that screw the fans, and I do think they probably listen to that on occasion, but who knows? We'll find out over the course of hopefully the next few days, and then everyone will be able to plan. But I'd very much like it to be a nice Saturday tie at a normal time, because that would just be the best for everybody. And given that, and again, we've got to remember that we've actually been quite fortunate in the last few years. You know, four third rounds, 3 Premier Leagues, and 1 Championship, all away from home. That's not bad. So we can't complain.
No. Oh God, no.
As you and I have said in the last few days, we couldn't take a single fan to Chelsea away last time, so it'd just be lovely if we could do it at a normal time of day. On the tie, the loveliest thing for me was watching the draw with my daughters, and my youngest daughter, Emily Jane, she shares a class with about 15 or 20 Chelsea fans, because we live just outside Dorking in Surrey, and everybody's a Chelsea fan down here. And literally, when we drew Chelsea out of the hat, she went prime Danny Dyer. Honestly, she was absolutely loving it. She was really screaming her head off. Yeah, Chelsea away, Chelsea away. She couldn't wait to get into school to tell everybody that we were playing Chelsea. So I'm really chuffed with the draw. Hopefully it'll be a good time and we can enjoy it.
Well, it's time for me to confess, because I was exactly the same. I was out of the chair, punching the air, going, again. I couldn't believe it. But looking at the draw, Matt, it's an opportunity for us, with 40,000, because it will sell. And obviously, Stamford Bridge, you get lower and upper shed end, so you get some good seats. A nice weekend away. It would be lovely to have a Saturday 3 o'clock and go down for the weekend, wouldn't it? I think that's what everybody's just waiting for, the keyboard to get the trains and book the hotels, aren't they?
Yeah, I think Saturday at 3 o'clock would be obviously everyone's preferred cup of tea. The game's going to be played through Friday to the Monday over that weekend. I could see us getting a Sunday draw, to be honest. I just reckon that's just how it's going to play. But I think, whatever day it's going to be, I think we'll take a lot of fans. I think a lot of Morecambe supporters will get behind this. And that's what we need. We need to, we missed that game in 2021. We managed to get there to Spurs, and that atmosphere was unbelievable. And let's just do it again. Can we cause the big upset? That's the question.
Well, personally, and I'm going. Who knows? But Chelsea have got Bournemouth at home on the Tuesday in the Premier League, and I don't think they'll move that, because because it's a league fixture. It's sort of set in tablets of stone because of the European games. That's why it's on that Tuesday. So I can't see us being a Sunday. I hope I'm wrong, but I can see us being a Friday night. And that's what I was alluding to, the fact that if they decide we're the Friday night and we have to get down there, and then they do Fulham on Watford on a Saturday, then we need to be kicking up a bloody stink, because that's just ridiculous. That's my thinking, but whatever. But anyway,
don't need police for a Fulham game with the cheese boards and the Sauvignon Blanc. They need police for that.
Yeah, you're probably right. It'd be easy, wouldn't it? I like it. Sauvignon Blanc, la di da. Right. So we've done. I've done a little bit about the draw there. Obviously, we'll talk about that in weeks to come when we've got and people are making the plans, etc., etc. But the staff, when we went down in 2021, the staff at Chelsea were magnificent. They were really, really friendly, and everybody was lovely. And they looked after us. And I hope it's going to be exactly the same if we take 3,500 down there, which would be absolutely superb. But back to the bread and butter, Tuesday night. I've already called it a game of two halves. I don't think anybody can argue with that, Joel. 2-2 at Tranmere. I thought we were brilliant first half, and then really conceded very early in the second half and sort of lost our way a bit.
Yeah, I think, like you said, game of two halves. The passes the eye test, passes the numbers test. I remember watching the first half, and I thought Tranmere played a decent little bit of football to start with, but I thought we held that really well defensively with a lot of threat going forward with our kind of direct attacks, getting out wide to Tollett in the right, and then Slew was kind of drawing in people really nicely to get Adam Lewis in with the
Lewis beyond
overlap.
him, yeah.
I thought Paul Lewis did quite a good job making those late runs in the box because that's kind of his MO, and it maybe spurred on a little bit by wanting to get a goal against his former club. But yeah, I thought it was a good solid half. I was pretty pleased with the performance and thought we were worth the lead. And I thought going on as the first half went on, I thought Tranmere became more and more frustrated. There were crap shots and range. There were overly ambitious passes that were never going to come off. They kind of started creeping into the game. Crowds had a bit of a boo at half time, and yeah, it was looking pretty good when we went in the second half. But obviously, fair play to them. They've come out pretty fired up in the second half. And got to tip your hat to the players and the manager for getting that reaction from them. They've started quickly. I think we probably could have dealt with the. It's hard to say with the corner because they've got blockers on and stuff. But I did think we could probably have dealt with the ball in the box that led to the corner a little bit better. It looked like there was a bit of confusion over whether the boy was going to come for it or not. And then Hendricks obviously had to put it out last ditch because there was somebody coming around behind him. So that wasn't ideal. That how we kind of found ourselves in that scenario. But we've got it back on the up. Got it back up pretty quickly. Find a bit of fire within ourselves. Another wonderful Adam Lewis delivery. Obviously, this time from a kind of like a bit of a second phase from the corner. I think
Paul Lewis was desperate to claim that.
He was trying to claim it. I mean, as you would against your former club.
Yeah.
But yeah, and it just shows what a wicked delivery that Adam Lewis has. And sometimes it's about having good corner routines, like we saw against Swindon. They were very, very rehearsed, very precise, very well drilled, and really well thought out. And that was great to see, and we executed them really nicely. Other times, especially at League Two level, sometimes it just takes a bit of a devilish ball with a bit of whip on it, and it'll catch out defence, and that's what that did on that occasion. And obviously, as the half's gone on, we've struggled. Tranmere brought fresh legs on. I thought Amari Patrick did a really good job when he came on the left, gave them a real good new threat. I can't remember the name of the striker they brought on, but he was pretty quick. Harvey Saunders, I think it was.
It was.
Yeah, I thought he did a good job. He was pretty quick, got him behind, stretched the defence a bit. And yeah, I thought they really ramped up the pressure. And I think Derek mentioned it in the post-match interview. I don't know if maybe the fact that they hadn't played on Saturday and we had, you could see it kind of really start to seep into the players.
Yeah.
And the fact that we don't really have much on the bench to be able to refresh our forward line. And I think when that happens, like you lose like defending isn't all just about kicking the ball away from your own box. It's part of it is being able to have a threat at the other end of the pitch to take the pressure off your defense, because you're just getting bombarded the whole game.
You need somebody to hold it up, don't you?
Exactly. Yeah, somebody get hold of it. Take, as Derek likes to say, get hold of it, take it for a run, bring you up the pitch. And we, as kind of tired probably a bit in the second half, we became a bit more stretched. Obviously, we've tried the little sub with Lewis moving forwards and Tutonda coming in, but I think Lewis is probably flagging a bit. I think he struggled to get back as much in the second half.
And Tutonda getting booked 10 seconds after coming on didn't help either.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure what he did to warrant that booking, but it felt a bit harsh. And then
it was harsh.
It wasn't. I don't know if it was for his reaction to the foul being given, but yeah, I just you could just tell it was slipping away from us a bit, and we've been a bit sloppy. We've let Connor Jennings free again from a kind of second phase from a set piece, and he's a good player, Connor Jennings, and he's done well to punish us. So at the end of the day, you come away relatively happy with a point based on the game. It's a shame that we couldn't hold on, but I think it does probably spell out what we're probably missing from the squad at that moment, partly due to injuries, partly it's made to do with having a couple more bodies in January would be good. I think particularly on the wing and attacking midfield. I think they're the main priorities for me. But imagine what it would have done for the team if say Gwyn had been fit last night. You could bring him on for Slew maybe, and then you've got somebody who can get hold of the ball, bring us up the pitch. And I think actually he did that last year. I think he came on the second half against Tranmere last year and gave us a bit of an extra edge. So yeah, I think that's probably what we missed. And yeah, it's a bit of a shame, but I think we still show some good stuff in that first half.
James, have you got your Christmas lights going on and off? Because you keep going bright and then dark and then bright.
It's every time it switches between you and Joel. Joel's got a white background and you've got a red background, so it's reflecting off my face.
I did wonder what was going on. I was like, ooh. Anyway, yeah. James, I'll come to you with a dark background. We're really hanging on Tuesday night, but I think probably we deserved a point. I mean, it's a good job. I do take what Joel said. I think there was I had a couple of issues with Harry Burgoyne not coming, particularly for the cross that they scored the corner from, but also the cross where the corner came from before that. No blame. It's just, I think Stuart is probably slightly more brave in coming off his line. That's just my opinion on it. And the one thing that's come through after all the games that we've had is that we've got 6 or 7 performers week in, week out who are good enough, to keep us in this division. And then we've got probably 3 or 4 more who are probably on the day very, very good players, but when they have a quiet game or they're not playing to the full potential, then we look like we're maybe 2 or 3 short. And I'm not naming any names, but I thought we missed Callum Jones. I thought Tom White was absolutely, utterly brilliant yet again. Jamie Stott, fantastic. Luke Hendry did pretty well, as did Reese. And Harry played pretty well in the goals, to be fair, because he made a couple of good saves. But I don't know what your thoughts on that were, but obviously we were quite happy to hang on, particularly in the 92nd minute with that. The guy missed the header when it looked easy to put in, and he managed to put it wide.
Yeah, I think the reality is that we had played that game on Saturday, and it was a really physical game against Bradford, and they chucked everything at us because everybody on the pitch is trying to get in the third round. Yeah. Tranmere had a full week off. Tranmere played the Tuesday before. And a full week off, they've got a similar squad size to us, makes a hell of a difference. So I just thought I was watching over here on the telly, and I just sort of thought at about the 65th minute, we're starting to look a bit leggy. Yeah. And I think that's all it was. I think it was a case of everybody feeling a bit leggy from Saturday. And to be fair, Tranmere did come out with their tails. They played very well in the second half, and I don't think you can deny that they didn't deserve the goals that they got, and they didn't deserve their point. But I just think it was a bit of fatigue from Saturday, which is natural. And, we are missing a couple of players, but you know what? Everybody is at this time of year. Everybody's going to be missing 3-4 players at this time of year. It's December and January. It's prime sort of injury time from heavy pitches. So I think that the point was fair. Tranmere deserved it. And, we just looked a bit tired for the last half hour.
I'll now recount the story that I was told from the dressing room, probably now about 10 years ago, where a player who shall remain nameless suggested that Kev Ellison always got to 5 bookings just before Christmas, so that he was suspended for Boxing Day, so he could have a nice Christmas. And I know Kev won't mind me saying that if he ever listens to this. But the person who told me that, I was like, yes, I shall remain nameless. But there you go. But coming to you now, Matt, the important thing on Tuesday night was obviously Swindon got battered, and we actually moved 2 places off the bottom.
Yeah, so it's good to be off that bottom peg. Definitely, it I think gives everyone a bit of a boost from the manager to the players themselves. They're starting to look right. Okay, so we moved up 2 places, but we can move further on and try and push further up that table. I think the important thing to realise is obviously, like you say, we played on Saturday. Tranmere didn't. We did slack a bit, sort of about half an hour to go in the 60-minute mark, and they were clinical and pushed us for it. Now we have got players out at the moment that are injured. I think everybody's right. We could do with a couple of extra players in there to bolster the squad, and hopefully, sort of January around the corner, that hopefully we'll get a couple more attacking players in, because I think that's what a lot of people are thinking we need at the moment, sort of midfield attacking players. And I just, the confidence thing is going to be massive. Obviously, the teams we've got to play now, the teams around us. So, over the next coming months, all the teams around us that we've got to play, and hopefully we can we can capitalise on that and get a few extra points and move further up that table because ideally that's the scenario.
Well, we'll finish up with a little bit of a chat about Grimsby, but I want to move on now to the statement by the beautiful statement from Jason Whittaker's preferred buyer, which I've pinched that phrase. I won't say off who, but yes, Mr. Singh Mommy, which came out of the blue. Obviously, he'd had a meeting at the club. I think he'd had a meeting at there were definitely people there, representatives at the club last week, because I happened to get a phone call off somebody who said, I've just followed 2 Sikhs into the ground when he was going to buy his Bradford ticket. So at least we know who they are. That's the only question that's really been answered, Joel, isn't it? Who we are, who it is. He's distanced himself from Sarbjot. Whether that's true or not, obviously it remains to be seen. But I do want to make one point, and 2 people have told me this, and I've checked it, and it's right. And the Wycombe Wanderers takeover took 8 days, start to finish, 8 days, and we're on 27, coming up 27 months now. So something somewhere, it's not adding up for all of us. And Sing Mommy coming out and giving that statement. It looks like empty platitudes to most of us, Joel, or am I wrong?
Yeah, I mean, he certainly had a sense of timing with I was out for it was my mum's birthday, so I was out for an evening meal, and I look at my phone, got texts, I've got missed calls, I'm like,
yeah,
I'm a couple of drinks deep as well, so I'm like, oh my days. But yeah, no, it was quite something. The statement, I think, while we appreciate the fact that it's some communication, obviously, it has taken a bit of a while. It's come in the wake of him being named by an investigative journalist, obviously Martin Callandine, putting his name out there for his investigations. And like you say, look, all sales are different. You can't always necessarily just transplant saying, oh, this sale took 8 days, so every other sale must take 8 days. But obviously, the entire period that Jason's had the club up for sale is, like you say, around 27 months, which is quite, really quite an extremely long time. We know it's now been confirmed that Mr. Singh's interest has been serious since July. So from then it's taken, getting on 5 months now. So yeah, it does beg the question, why is it taking this long? And ideally that's something that if this deal is going to progress, we'd quite like to have answered and try to understand why this is the case. So I think we put this out in a statement, but if Mr. Singh is able to contact the trust, then please do. We strongly urge that so we can kind of establish a line of contact and try to understand what the situation is and why it's been taking so long, really.
And I think, looking at it from a fan's point of view, Matt, the question that most of are asking is why? Why? If he does want to buy it, why? I just don't, if he's a businessman from where he's from, I don't know. It's just something doesn't smell right. It doesn't add up for me. And that's just my personal opinion. What are your thoughts, Matt?
Yeah, I mean, the timing of the statement that came out was definitely interesting. Just on the back of the journalist that revealed who it was, and then to get that statement on Saturday after a really victorious day for the club itself on the pitch. Everyone, the sort of questions I'm getting asked at the moment is, who is he, or why does he want to buy Morecambe? Is there a reason to, has he got a connection around here or something, and. We can sit here and say, we just want to get bought by somebody and we want somebody to come in who's got a genuine interest. But from a fan's point of view, we want to know what that interest is. So you know what I mean? Like, what ties you to Morecambe? What gives you the sort of outlook of, oh, I want to buy a football club. Well, I'll buy Morecambe. Well, why? Why do you want to buy Morecambe?
Exactly.
We said this in as a trust. We have said this in letters, and just to alliterate what Joel said there is that in our statements we have said that we'd like him to contact the trust by any means. Everything all our contact details are all public, so you would just like him to get in contact, open that line of communication so we can have a conversation with him to get the answers of what the fans are asking. And essentially that's what the trust is there for. And we're there for the fans. And I think that he at least owes us the privilege to have a conversation with him to answer these questions, really.
Yeah, I think they're all fair questions. Again, maybe we're all a little bit jumpy and a little bit suspicious because we don't want to go from the frying pan to the fire. And also, we do go back to Joseph Calla and Diego Lemos, and just the procession of chancers, idiots, and half-wits. That's just the way it is, isn't it? Unfortunately, history is telling us that we've got to be wary. And you've seen what's happened to other Football League teams like Bury and, to a certain extent, poor ownership at Reading and a couple of others. And you're quite right, Joel. Obviously, the Wickham situation, 8 days, is unprecedented. But that's because they had all the ducks in a row, and that's the point, isn't it? If it's somebody who is clued up and does have the right paperwork and the right credentials, it doesn't take long to get the stuff through. But obviously, all will become clear. This will unfold over time. We'll probably know more. I don't think with him coming out, I think you're right. Martin Caladine's articles probably had a lot to do with it in flushing him out. But I don't think it's going to stop there. And obviously, it's watch this space. So moving on. Obviously, you coming on today, Matt. You've got a role in the Shrimps Trust. Tell us what that role is and talk us through what's coming up, because obviously we've got lots going on just before Christmas.
Yes, so my role in the Shrimps Trust is events lead. So I sort of taken the bull by the horns, if you like, for all the events that are either run by the Shrimps Trust or in conjunction with the Shrimps Trust. And I think the main one to point out here is after what seems like forever, I think it's been about 3 years of the Memorial Garden sort of, discussions taking shape, moving places. And, we finally got to a point of where the trust was happy, the club was happy. And that was really important. We wanted to get it right. It's going to be a fixture of the club that we wanted to make sure was, it's going to be there for some time. So we needed to make sure it was right. So the work has started on the Memorial Garden. We're hoping it's going to be finished. We're looking at the moment sort of towards the end of December, with a big opening happening in January 2025. And it's going to involve a lot of people opening the Memorial Garden. A lot of people are going to be down there and having a look. It has taken time to get sorted, and we've had to fundraise, and thanks to everybody who's obviously raised all the money previous to what we've had before, and we really appreciate it. And I think it's going to look really good when it's finished. And in terms of the most common question I'm getting asked about the garden at the moment is, can we get plaques and can they be put up for memorials for people? And as an exclusive on the podcast today, I can say yes, that is going ahead. They will be available to purchase through the Shrimps Trust. We've already got somebody lined up to do all our engraving for us and everything, and they're ready to go. So you can pay a nominal fee to have a plaque put up with a loved one's details on there, which would be really good for the club. And then moving on from the Memorial Garden, we've got this Saturday the annual toy appeal that we do every year. Mm-hmm. So this year we decided to go with 2 local schools that might not be as privileged as some other places around in the area. And I just want to express how much this toy appeal is going to help the community. It's going to help children who may not get presents at Christmas time, which it's quite a sad thing to think about.
It is.
Every child deserves a present, and I think that our toy appeal really pushes out to the public. My door's been a revolving door of Amazon parcels arriving every day, which is great to see for the toy appeal. And we'll be there on Saturday, try to raise some money. And you can bring your toys down, drop them off with us. And we're going to go to these local schools. Community sports have got involved, and we've got Christy the cat coming along with us, which is going to be great to go see the kids. We're going to have a conversation with the children from a trust point of view, about Christmas and what it really is about. And I think that's going to be good for the children. The schools are really keen on us doing that, and then we'll leave some gifts at the schools for the children to enjoy. And the schools will sort that out, which I think is great. And then moving on from that, next Thursday, so like a week today, a week today, we've got the Christmas party at the club. So this is a joint venture between the club, the Community Sports Foundation, and the trust. And I think a lot of events will run like that going forward. So we've all got a bit of a responsibility in it. So tickets are free. So please get in contact to ourselves at the trust or the club. You can get a ticket to the club direct. Get yourselves down. The big man himself might make an appearance. I'm sure.
What, Jim Bentley?
Oh, maybe. Yeah, I think he's gonna come down. I think we're gonna see him. And it's just a night for the kids to, just sort of let go for a bit. They got a DJ come in and whatnot. I think it's been really good. 4:30 till 7:30 next Thursday, the 12th. If you got nothing on, it's a free ticket.
That's absolutely brilliant. That's well worth shouting about. That's good work, Matt. You've been a busy lad, haven't you?
Yeah, and it's looking forward to the future. It's not going to stop there. Obviously, January we're looking at doing the Memorial Garden opening, and that's going to be a big event. We're going to get the press involved in that and everything. That's going to be great. And then the aim is to sort of run everything every other month, with towards the end of the season looking at every month if something happening, whether that's through the trust or the club or the community foundation, just to sort of give something back to everybody of Morecambe. We spend a lot of money on things, and we need to get the community involved because that's what we're about essentially. The club, the club and the trust, we're all about the community. Like I say, if you've got nothing on next Thursday, get yourself down to the club. Have a few drinks, have a bit of a boogie. You'll love it. It'll be great.
Sounds like fun. James, I'm going to come to you now. Today was the launch of the Wave shirt, which we got a sneak preview of a few months ago, which is a fantastic shirt. And I keep getting updates saying that they've sold really, really, really well. And I believe £5 from every purchase is going towards local food bank. Is that right?
Yeah, absolutely. The Terrace wanted to do a third kit, and for various EFL restriction reasons and colour reasons, it needed to be released for a special event like this. And again, you really can't knock the guys at the Terrace and the way they've approached things on almost every level this season, whether it be doing badges for the trust or whether it be coming up with lines at short notice. And in this instance, £5 from every shirt goes to the food bank, and when the shirts are sold out, they're sold out, and they are selling quickly. I actually got the prompt myself and went on and quickly bought 3 for Christmas for me and my daughters. So get involved. It's a cracking design. It's a one-off, and £5 from every shirt you really can't complain about.
And we're wearing it Saturday against Grimsby.
Wear it Saturday against Grimsby. I'm disappointed though that they're not selling the socks and the shorts in the shop. So Les, if you're listening, I might be asking if I can grab a set of those, because Tuesday night full kit, and I can't wear it unless I'm wearing the shorts and the socks as well. I just while I'm on, I wanted to say a massive well done to Matty for that Memorial Garden in particular. I have been on calls with the trust for coming up to 5 years now, and that's been talked about. Massive credit to Derek for getting it off the ground in the first place and the idea. Massive credit to everybody who contributed money, but it's taken somebody to come in and just really grab it by the scruff of the neck. So thanks to Matt and the trust. It's going to be fantastic to see it once it's up and running.
And I'm super impressed with the design of the shirt that they've done. It looks absolutely nice colour scheme, sort of navy blue and sky blue. Something different, but I know we've had a few people in the past who've said never change the colour of the badge, and they haven't. They've remained red, which is great. because it does stand out brilliantly. So I'm looking forward to seeing that on Saturday. And obviously that leads us nicely into segues nicely into the Grimsby game, where Grimsby had a pretty good win the other night. They shoved 5 past Accrington. They were 4-0 up at one point. Dave Artell, they've crept up to 7th, and they've done that quite stealthily. And they've got some half decent lads playing for them who've done it at this level over the years. Joel.
Yeah, no, I was just listening to Derek talk about them, and it's quite interesting that the record of matches this season have not really drawn too many. They tend to be a bit of a win-lose side. So I think we know a good bit about the principles that Dave Artell likes to try and drill in his players. Obviously, he likes to build from the back. I think what I gather from reports, he tried to do that when he first came in, struggled a bit, went a bit more pragmatic. But obviously now he's had a summer, he's had a bit more time in the job. I imagine he'll be building that, trying to build that style. Although I had a quick look at the possession stats for the league, they're actually not particularly high up. They're under 50% average possession, so they're not necessarily always having the ball for great periods of the game. But yeah, they're obviously a decent side. They've knocked a good few goals past Accrington. They've got some decent players as well. They'll be a threat, but look, we've played well all season, and we're due a win finally. Well, in the league, and hopefully that'll come on Saturday.
I hope so, because I said it in the last podcast that we did, in the fact that a couple of the wives who stand with us went, right, today's the day, and I was like, why is today the day? They went, it's middle of November, it's about time we won one at home, and I was like, oh, you're just so greedy, you just want everything. And then I reminded them that we haven't won at home in the league since Barrow on Easter Monday. Blooming heck, James, we are due one, aren't we, Joel?
We've had a home win in 2024.
Yeah, exactly. It's greed, pure greed. But yeah, James, it's about time, isn't it? Even if Lady Luck shone on us a little bit on Tuesday night in the second half, I just hope it carries on the way it is, because it'll be a tough game. Because like Joel's already alluded to, Dave Artell's sides, they'll know what they're about.
Yeah, and I personally am a big fan of Dave Artell as a manager. I think he's a long-term manager. I think he does things the right way, and he builds steadily, and I think he'll do well at Grimsby. I think that coming into this game, though, and given that I really did think we were a bit leggy the other night, we will have had a little bit more rest before this one. We're a team on decent form. Since the 2nd of November, we've won 4, we've drawn 2, and we've lost 1. That's decent form. We maintain that till the end of the season, and we will be in a very different spot. So hopefully it'll be a good game on Saturday. I think the atmosphere will be decent. And yeah, there's absolutely no reason why we can't take the 3 points. I don't mind whether we get our wins away or at home. I think those who've travelled have got some nice rewards of late, especially in 1 or 2 of the longer trips, and that's great. But our form is different now. It's fundamentally different since the beginning of November, and we just need to maintain as much of that as possible through this festive period, and we'll be sitting in a different spot come the middle of January.
See, that's why we have James on, because he likes to look through a glass half full, not a glass half empty, Matt. Where do you stand on this one?
Yeah, I think look at Grimsby. They're talking about their form. Their 2 wins, 2 losses, a draw. So we look at their manager, Dave Artell. I think he's like say a long-term manager. I think he's someone who's in the game for the long run. Can we get a win? Let's hope so. Our form is pretty good at the moment. I just do worry about the fitness of the players. We should be obviously in a lot better position than we were on Tuesday. But playing Saturday, are we going to be able to maintain a level of fitness that we need to clear us over the line? Really.
Yeah, it's a fair point, because obviously we've got that game, and then we've got Lincoln next week in the we change its name every 10 minutes cup, whatever it's called, the Bristol Street Virtue JPT. I don't know, but there's that one coming up as well. So it is a fair point in the fact that we've had a lot of Saturday Tuesday. But when you come down to it, Joel, getting through in that cup and getting through in the FA Cup, that's brought the money in. That's hopefully going to enable Derek to strengthen the squad.
Yeah, hopefully, and like you say, it's just good to build a bit of winning momentum and a bit of positivity. I think the Lincoln game will probably be a bit more open to rotation, shall we say, in terms of personnel because, well, obviously we do want to progress. It is a trophy that does take a little bit of a backseat in comparison to the others, especially when we've got such a busy Christmas schedule and some FA Cup wins. But yeah, I think, like you say, it's going to be tricky, but it is getting to a time where I think other squads will probably also start to feel the pinch a little bit fitness wise. Hopefully, the situation with Trevor is just a one off in that they've obviously had the the Saturday off, and that's what's given them a particular edge. And hopefully, it will kind of even itself out as the month goes on, because it's always a busy period in Christmas and tricky conditions as well. So, but we know how grueling the pre-season was, so hopefully that's stood them in good stead.
Yeah, every player who's come on's alluded to that. So there you go. Final comment is for James, actually, in the fact that obviously there's a lot of detail to be sorted out for the excuse me, for the cup game at Stamford Bridge. But obviously when we went to Tottenham, yourself and the Shrimps Trust combined to sort coaches out. Is that being looked at? Is that a possibility?
I think we've just got to wait to see when the game is and plan around that. Yeah, once we've got a date for the game, I think everybody can start to plan. And it will make a difference as to what day it's on, as to what can be sorted.
Yeah, true. So Pat Stoles is going to be a busy chap, I feel.
Yeah, and just to briefly jump in on coach travel, actually, just a couple of trust things to mention, as well as obviously all the great updates that Matt shared tonight. Away travel, we've got a meeting for away travel. Just looking ahead to the rest of the season, that's an open meeting for basically people who have travelled with us so far this season, who plan to keep on travelling with us.
Is that 16th of December?
That is indeed, yeah, 16th of December. I think it's 7:30 p.m. at JB's Bar. Basically, look, some of the games have been real successes. We sold out for the Tranmere coach, which is really great. So it's doing all right for the games that are near us. But obviously, we've had some quite long trips in recent weeks. We've had things like Worthing, and when those ones do come about, they do generally incur quite a bit of a loss. So it might be that we have to just take stock a little bit on numbers we've got going for the rest of the season, and just kind of plan our strategy. Maybe have to be a little bit more strategic there. But basically, what we encourage people to do is, if they are planning to try and keep on with the trust coaches throughout the rest of the season, come down to the meeting on Monday the 16th. Tell us what you're planning to do. Say how you feel about the situation. Come and share your thoughts, because ultimately, we will kind of be guided by what members are wanting to do and what on this, and obviously within reasons with costs. But yeah, we just. Hopefully we hope that as many people can come down as possible who are planning to travel on the coach for the rest of the season, just so we can get a bit of a stronger idea of where we're at in terms of fixtures.
Yeah, I understand the one thing that you're looking for, perhaps if you need to sort of like put it into a couple of minibuses and hopefully get volunteers to drive. Is that right?
Yeah, that's right. And actually, that's another thing. Actually, we are hoping for volunteers to come forward who are able to drive a minibus and are willing. So if you are able or willing, please do get in touch. Email travel@shrimptrust.co.uk. Come along to the meeting. Get in touch with us by any means. We'll pass you to the right person to talk to. So any help that anybody's willing to offer, that'd be fantastic. And just to quickly wrap up on one more little point, just to circle back round onto the updates from Jason Whittingham and obviously Kuljit Singh Mummy. We have been chasing for an update, and as you probably guessed, at the time I'm kind of speaking, we've not had anything further. So we will keep chasing on that, and once we do know a bit more, we'll obviously do what we've done in recent months and share that with fans and members.
So thanks for that. This is just confirmation that there is nothing from the owner or the preferred buyer of that owner. This is Freeze, news at 10, nothing to report, back to the studio. Yeah, sounds about right. Right, this has been ShrimpNet. Thank you to Matt, thank you to Joel, thank you to James. I hope you've enjoyed it. Please join us next week. Hopefully we will have a player, hopefully. I'm giving clues there who couldn't come on last week. So fingers crossed we can get a player on next week and have a chat with them as well. But keep up the good work, Trust guys. Looking forward to. I'm going to get together with Rod Taylor and put together a list of the players that we're hopefully going to put on the wall.
Yep.
Who've passed away, mostly local lads, I think, but we'll do that. So thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Join us again next week.